All right, so let's do it from the back side. Make sure that I have Gary, not George. Come on, good boy. Atta boy. Yeah, you want to work? You want to work? You want to work? Yes. Good boy. Yeah. All right, good boy. Okay, place. Yes, all 4 feet on. I use my marker. Yes, I follow it up with a treat. Now, again, if he was to move off there, I would just move in, tighten up my leash so that he can't. If he beats me to it, then I just put him back on it. It's not a harsh correction. It's no yelling. Just calm. So he just did it down. So I'm not asking for any obedience once he gets there. I want to teach place. I want to teach him he stays until he hears Gary, come, right? Gary Kupla. So now that he understands that he can't leave, my next thing is to call his name, then the command. I back up, kind of show him the treats coming into my middle groin area so that he comes to me. I mark it when he gets to me with a verbal marker, yes, and give him a treat. Gary, come. Yes. Good boy, buddy. And I'll give him more than 1 or 2 treats at times. You know, make it fun. Come on. Place. Yeah, so he's already picking up. Kind of call it free shaping. Like he knows if I go to that bed, I get a treat. But I always want to put the word place on it. So again, repetitions, consistent repetitions, hundreds of them before he picks it up. Before he picks up the verbal cue. I know you can't see me. Before he picks up the verbal cue, hundreds of repetitions. So we want to make sure that we teach him up close and we don't like overdo it on duration. Once we know he really picks it up, then we go a little longer and from a little further distance. So again, I don't care if he sits or downs unless I put him in a command on the bed. Then if I say sit and he was to down, I would use my leash with leash pressure straight up and I recommand sit and make sure he stays in sit. It's very important for dogs to understand that what I ask of you must be followed. Not what you think, not what you want, because that's what happens with dogs. When we allow them to get away with those little things, they become bigger and bigger things. So again, I don't care if he lays down or sits, as long as he doesn't break that, and he's been on there for a while now. So again, my command is his name, then I say C-O-M-E. As I'm saying C-O-M-E, I'm backing up, because again, dogs don't understand that verbal command first. They understand the body movement. So by moving away, and if he doesn't follow, I use a little bit of leash pressure, meaning pulling him to me slightly. That initiates him reading our body, which they pick up first, whether it's movement of hand lowering, movement of body blocking him, moving away to initiate prey drive. That's where the repetitions come in, and then slowly over time, they pick up the verbal cue. Because anything we say to him, unless it's been conditioned, classically conditioned, it's mumbo jumbo to him. So he's licking himself. Gary, come. Yes. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. And when he does come to you, I don't care how short of a distance, make it a big thing, because the recall is a life-saving obedience command. Whether it saves his life if he ever got out the door or out a gate, or if he slipped his leash or his collar. That's why I highly suggest you get off. For training, we want to stay with a collar at all times. A harness was originally built for pulling dogs, so it supports that movement, which creates it very difficult to teach the dog for healing on a loose leash. But backing up communication, the leash and collar using leash pressure, and again, leash pressure isn't a correction. Leash pressure is gentle pressure to get them to come to where we want them to come, or go to where we want them to go, and then ultimately loosening up that pressure once he moves to that spot or moves that step or two we're trying to teach him. Hopefully that makes sense. It will later on, okay? So again, in the learning phase, we want to use a primary reinforcer after every successful obedience command, okay? So later on, once he's out of learning phase, we'll go to a different schedule. They call it a variable schedule. So we start weaning off a treat every time. But right now, for everything we're teaching, we want to give him food, and we want to do it when he has desire for food. Meaning, most of my training is going to be done before breakfast, before dinner. So for tomorrow, we don't want to feed him breakfast because he's going to get plenty of treats. So again, he's close enough. He's about 2 feet away. I'm going to help him. So I'm going to say, place. Yes. I mark it when he's on. He naturally turns away. Now I'm backing up because I've done it a few times. If he breaks it, I'm going to block him, say or no. So again, I didn't ask him for a sit or down, so I don't care what he does. Now I'm going to ask him to stay on there a little longer before I give him his recall. Now again, remember, dogs learn in pictures, meaning if we work 15, 20 reps at a foot, foot and a half away, and we're getting it now, so when we say place, he gets right on it. You can't go from a foot and a half out to 5 feet. They learn in little pitches. So I would go a foot, get a 10, 15, 20 reps, then add another foot. So you got to slowly progress, not only in the distance, whatever you're teaching, but also in the duration. You can't expect him, if he knows a good place stay for 15 seconds, you can't go and expect him to do a 2-minute stay. So we slowly build up to that. Right, Gary? Gonna get your name right. So again, the recall, name, so he's looking at us. And then ultimately, looks like something went up on my phone. Ultimately, I'm going to back up when I'm saying come. Gary, come. Yes, good boy. Oh yeah, good boy. And a bunch of treats, all done. Good boy. Hopefully that got recorded. All right, buddy.